are like this. Brittle, easily, for us to take water quality, serious. Now, the second slide has to do with, and then they lead to, various forms of cancers. Sometimes we have these kidney stones, kidney diseases, liver cancers, cardiovascular diseases like high blood pressure, hypertension. Sometimes we suffer these diseases and only think about the food that we eat, but the water we drink as well could result to, the contraction of, some of these particular diseases. So water quality is very, very important. In order to meet the SDG Goal 6, quality water provision is very key. It's not only access to water. So let's take note of that. Now, because of the legal implications and health implications that contaminations could bring to us and the communities that we serve, World Vision has come up with an ultra-modern regional water quality laboratory. This lab does not only serve Ghana, but it serves the West African region in the world. Yes. So what do we do in the Regional Water Quality Laboratory? Each well that has been drilled, and each well that will be drilled, we subject them to, full water quality analysis. We do microbiological analysis on our water. We run physicochemical analysis. We look at major ions, we look at physical parameters, and we look at trace elements in our water. Now, we run all this analysis to be sure that the water that we are providing for the communities is safe, and to also, prevent the organization from encountering legal suits. One thing we fail to understand is that if World Vision should provide a well that does not meet standards, someone can go and do an analysis on the well, and when it is found contaminated, the organization can be sued. And you can imagine how much we're going to lose. And aside the legal, suits, let's look at the health impact. In Ghana, about over 10,000 children under 5 years die as a result of the contraction of diarrheal diseases. Where do we get it from? The water that we drink and the food that we eat. So we test our waters, before a pump is installed, and then 6 months down the line, we go around to do monitoring. Now, apart from this, World Vision will not continue to forever live in our communities. So what happens when we leave? We build the capacity of the district assembly and then the community reps in water quality management. So the lab does not only exist, to analyze samples or test samples, but we also build the capacity of the district assemblies and then the community volunteers in the areas or classes where we work. Now, aside that, we do testing for fluoride and trace elements. As I earlier on mentioned, the lab is not only for World Vision Ghana, but the West African region. And apart from all this, we also do collaborative studies into groundwater. To have a very fair understanding and the trends of changes in groundwater. So we have been able to test well over 3,600 wells. And all this has been subject to all the parameters I earlier on mentioned, microbiological and physicochemical parameters. Translating this, we'll be able to reach people with basic water service. The water we provide, I can knock my chest and say that it is safe because we have tested and they are within acceptable limits. Yes, so what else have we been able to achieve? We've been able to train over 300 district assembly and community reps in water quality management in our various areas. And aside that, we have supported the ProCleans project. These are special projects within the organization. The ProCleans Nurturing Care Group, on the first day, they were here. And then the CPR projects with over 1,000 microbiological analysis. And then we've installed arsenic removal treatment systems in Kadia and Sabulugu. Sometimes you drill the well, and because of only a parameter, you have to cap the well. And World Vision, it is very, very common because we don't want to provide contaminated water for the communities. So in situations where we can treat the water, we install treatment systems to take care of that. Then we recommended the capping and monitoring of wells that did not meet quality guidelines. You sink several thousands of dollars in drilling a well. Then because of a borderline parameter, let's say fluoride per the guideline is 1.5 milligram per liter. Then you get 8 or 1.7. What do? Do you cap the well completely? Do you abandon it? So what we do is that we cap the well, then we monitor it over a period of time. Then when there's no reduction, we just cap it and abandon it. But when there's reduction, there's improvement, then we install a pump on it and continue with monitoring. So what are the learnings? We've come to realize that the software component of WORS plays a very key role in household water quality management. And then the knowledge of the district assemblies and the community reps has been enhanced. We carry it with, about 5 or less than 10 people carrying it, we'll be able to give you very good results and sustaining results. So we come to understand that partnership plays a very key role in getting results faster, and then it's more sustaining. Then the management of installed treatment plants by communities consolidates the community confidence in well vision. Somewhere in Kadia and Sabulugu, where these arsenic plants are installed, we have built their capacity to be able to change the laterite that we use in the arsenic remover. So they're able to do it all by themselves without well vision's presence. And we have had some findings in collaborative research published in papers. I will show you that briefly. So with this one, this a disaster issue. Last year, the paradigm was opened, boreholes were submerged and all that. So we went around to do sampling just to get a good picture of the contamination levels of the boreholes. The lethal effect of groundwater fluoride on germination group of maize. Sometimes we feel that fluoride is only lethal to humans, or it only has a debilitating effect on humans. But plants too, we have done a study, and we have realized that it has effect on the growth and the germination of crops as well. So these are researches that we have published that we could read later on. Thank you very much. So water quality management training session for NCG staff. This is one of our equipment scale up.
Okay, so we did some pilots. We looked at the households that can afford the household connection. We engaged them. We had a stakeholder engagement with the district assembly, with the communities, and with the WSMT members. Following that, we did some capacity assessment of the WSMTs and realized that indeed those 2 communities that we selected have the capacity to manage. So we decided that we would do in small numbers and then scale up as we go along. Okay, so this is just a community profile. There are 2 communities we looked at, Kenyasi number 3 and then Obin Crew. Okay, so you see their population is a farming community. For Kenyasi number 3, 15 household connections were done. Kenyasi Obin Crew, 11 connections. As I said, we decided to start with small numbers to monitor the management. The metering system, post-speed metering system. So the cost of connection was between 200 and 500 Ghana cedis. We had to subsidize this. Yeah, and the farthest extension, 300 meters. Yeah, and you can imagine the pipes you have to buy in order to connect to your house. So we had to subsidize. For those that are more than 300 meters, we had to subsidize, get a flat rate for them. Okay, so the technology here is solar powered for 2 of the communities. Okay, so this is just some community. So this serves the entire community. Compared to the standpipe, they made a lot of money. The non-revenue water had significantly reduced with the household connection, because for the standpipe, averagely they get 100 Ghana cedis a month. But with the household connection, 293.60 a month.